Okay, so since my screen is very clear, I want to say good morning to everybody since my screen is visible to all. And in this particular class, we have gone so far. Um, we have gone so far in this class. We have had more than about 13 classes, if I'm correct, by number. And we have covered everything that research that will help you to do a good research, because your master's degree is a research degree, as it were. And same with your doctoral degree. They are research degree. You have to do research. And that's why this course is a compulsory course. It is going to prepare you for your writing. And I always insist that I don't want to be your friend until you are able to write a good thesis, or your final essay or dissertation, whatever it is. My 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 expectation is that whoever your supervisor is, they will be happy with your writing as a result of this course. That is when I will be happy. And personally, I would say that uh, you have been given the best, because there is no chapter that you don't know what to do as we speak now. There is no chapter that you don't know what to do, and that is significant, because with all that we have done, the videos, the slides, the instructional resources, we know and we are convinced that uh, you are going to do well. Although many of you are not happy, because this is the first time you will be coming to this kind of learning environment, the rigor and all of those things. But I don't want you to be angry about that. It's for the best, you know. So now we have finished from what we have done in the last 2 weeks. We have now reached the level where you are now in the discussion, where you will discuss such findings. And in this area, I want you to learn how to meaningfully interpret the results, so that the significance and implication will not just be repeating. You will not just be repeating what the data showed. And because of this, we will learn via some principles. Let me know in the comment room, in the chat room, if you are seeing the second slides. When you are doing discussion, we are saying common mistakes. The second slide says common mistakes to avoid. I don't know whether that slide. Yes. When you have presented your table and you have interpreted that table, that, according to this table, the null hypothesis is therefore rejected. And as a result of that, so and so does not have a significant effect. You have done that at the level of results. You have done that at the level of results. Since you have done that at the level of results, you are not expected, when you want to be discussing that result, to repeat the results. You are not expected to repeat the results again. You are not expected to restate the statistics value, F mean. is equals to, when you are doing discussion, you must not do this one. If your supervisor reports you to me, you will be arrested if you repeat all these mistakes. Because then another thing that you must not do is to just list literature. You open a bracket and you just put literature. No. Literature dumping. Again, another thing that you must not do is to ignore contradictions of your findings. When you are discussing, you must not only say this your findings is in agreement with Yemi and Bola Pade 2010. You must also say that it's contradicting with somebody. These are very important issue while discussing the findings of a study. Now, what are the things that you must do for a good discussion? What are the things you have to do for a good discussion? Number one, state the findings. For instance, you can say the cooperative teaching method effectively improved students' achievements in geometry. You can just say that is it. So you will now interpret the meaning. The meaning is that the achievement of students who are exposed to cooperative learning is better. You can say it's 2 times higher. The point that when you are interpreting in such a way that anybody who is in your field or not in your field, they will be able to relate with it. Let me give you an example. Let's say we have a study that shows that 20% of the students who are out of school begging on the streets are likely to be victim of car accidents. That's what you find. But that 20% is not what anybody can relate with. So when you are interpreting the meaning, one will now say 2 out of 10 out of school children are likely to be victims of accidents. 2 out of 10. That one is more relatable to 20% that you are saying. So when this interpretation is taking place, you are having 2 audiences in mind: the people in your discipline and the people who don't know anything about what you are doing. Then the next thing that you must do in your discussion is that you must attribute your findings to something. And you can see that there is no literature here. There is no literature here. No literature yet. What I mean is that, look at, let's say, cooperative method of teaching is working better. The achievement of the students who are exposed to that is 2 times better. Now, you will now use that method you can see that the first 3 sentences, they are your own words. They are your idea. That, why is it so? the results of this study could be attributed to the fact that during cooperative learning, students interact without fear because the interaction is with peers. You can see a bit of poetry here. I said students interact with one another without fear because the interaction is with peers. It's their peers. Like now, when you interact with me, there may be a little phobia, but when you interact with your peer, you can call the person by his first name, you can do this and all of that. So now the next thing is that you will now begin to compare what you have found out with literature. That this your work is in agreement with A and B, is in agreement with C and B, is in disagreement with this, and you explain the disagreements. Maybe A own is among students of low income earner, yours is in high income earner. What have you done now? Which is your contribution to knowledge? You have now said that this thing works everywhere, irrespective of the level of income. And you also discuss the implication. These 7 must be in your discussion. If you don't do these 7, you have not done well. This is very important. So I am repeating it again. What not to do. Do not restate beta weight. Do not restate T value. Do not restate F values. Do not restate P values in the discussion. This belongs to the results section. Restating statistic is the most common mistake in research discussion. What to do instead? Translate number into substantive meaning. Explain findings in plain language that is understandable by both specialists and non-specialists. That is important. Very, very important in this your results discussion. Now look at it. Explain why findings occurred. Use multiple lenses to interpret why your results happen. You can use the theory to explain it. You can use a methodology to explain it. Look at when I said the children, the learners interact without fear because they are interacting with peers. So that is methodology. I'm saying that the methodology, the way the something is, the theory of cooperation can also be used. Now look at you can also use your culture and the context of the culture to consider cultural policy and environmental factor. So these are the 4 major ways that you can use to explain your results and to discuss it also. We will look at the practical implication. Now look at it. This is the area I want you to focus. Avoid literature shopping lists. Don't cite studies. Don't just cite studies. Compare, evaluate, explain. Supporting studies. Discuss agreements. discuss agreements, discuss agreements, discuss agreements, and explain why your findings align. Address disagreement and explain contextual differences in it. Now, this is the discussion writing template. The inner core, you can see the inner core here. The inner core is your findings. It's like the lightning that we get. The finding presents the key results. The next core is the meaning of that result and why. Explain significance and causes. Next to that is literature comparison. Relate your results to prior studies. And finally, what is the contribution and scholarly implication? If you have done all of this, you have finished writing the results section. Another section that is also important in research is the conclusion. The conclusion of the study. When you want to write conclusion, is in chapter 5. What should be in that conclusion? The conclusion section, what you are supposed to do is to include. What to include? Synthesize what the study established. Explain why the findings matters for stakeholders and practice. State genuine limitation and their influence and how they were managed. Let me give you an example. When you are concluding for that cooperative learning, the statement that you are supposed to make is that these studies affirm that cooperative learning can improve student achievements. It improves student achievements. So when you have done that, you have actually provided your readers, as it were, with information. And the next thing is that one can say this findings is significant because of the large classes that we have now. It can help for the learners who are in large classes to cope well, to learn well, and so on and so forth. Then the limitation and how they will manage. What you must avoid in your conclusion: don't introduce new evidence. Don't repeat statistics. Don't make claims not supported by your findings. Another thing that we usually write in the university is the what we call the limitations of the study. And recommendations. Limitations of the study has to do with things that are beyond your control that can make the generalization that you have obtained to be impossible. Let me put it like this. Let's assume that I find out in a study that exposure to practicals does not actually improve students' achievements, does not improve student achievement in organic chemistry. You know, the nature of organic chemistry is that there are many topics. So I cannot say in my work that the findings that I now have is what we can generalize for everything in chemistry. No, it is not for everything in chemistry. Everything in chemistry cannot be generalized by that finding. So my limitation is that what I have found out is restricted to organic chemistry alone. You know, you cannot say it is for every chemistry topic that particular finding is significant. But your limitation. So your recommendation also must be related to your findings. Your recommendations must also be related to your findings. Don't do recommendations that are just there, you know. Recommendations that are just that don't really have how do I want to put it now? That, you know, you just say Ministry of Education should do something. This one, all those recommendations that are that you just found, be specific and actionable, not vague suggestion. Then another part on your chapter 5 is what we call the meaningful gaps and proposed focused future research. For that further study, you can say that they can do that same thing. If I did my own in organic chemistry, I do it in poetry, I do it in summary, I do it in preschool. One can say they can do it in another field, you know, so as to determine whether it's going to work there, you know. So the chapter 5 full flow is the summary, and the UI summary is that you will write out all that you have done from chapter 1 to chapter 5 in few sentences. You will write everything in few sentences. That's what you will first do. Then you will write all the implications of the results and other things as far as the study is concerned, you know. Then from there, we will have other things there. So that is the first part of our conversation. I would love you to go to the material I sent to your WhatsApp and look at the specific instructions given on how to go about when you are doing your discussion. I believe you have it. So I gave you some things to, when you are doing your discussion, if the result is correlation, the preferred verb phrases that we must see in that discussion are, let me know whether you have opened it. Put it in the chat room if you have opened that part. I sent it. Let me know in the chat room if you have opened that. I sent it to the WhatsApp. Yeah. All right. So when the work is correlation, the preferred verb phrases that you can use is associated with. A is associated with B, or A is related to B, correlated with, positive and negative relationship. Don't use words like cost. Don't use words like affected. Don't use words like led to. Next one, if you did a t-test, you can say things like deferred. You can say things like, yeah, somebody could put that document in the Telegram so that people can see it. Somebody can put it in the Telegram. Let somebody put that thing in the Telegram. Let me see. Let me see if I can put it so that everybody would have access to it. Okay. Thank you. We've seen it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We have seen it there now. Okay. So let me stop sharing that. And let me stop sharing that and look at how I can share so that people will see what we have there. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sharing the screen for people to see. So what I'm saying is that you can say words like, because the result is not giving you the liberty to say cost. So when you do ANOVA, you can now say has significant effect, differed across groups, varied, but you cannot say correlated with or cost. When you do ANCOVA, you can say things like it had a significant adjusted effect, remains significant after controlling for, adjusted. You can't say proved. You can't say that. You can't say determined. But you could say things like, that thing had effects. When you do regression, multiple regression, you can use verbs and phrases as predicted, explained, accounted for, contributed to, predicted, predicted, what again? Predicted, but you can't say proved, guarantee, cost. If it's chi-square, you could do that, Mancover. So do not repeat tables verbatim, interpret, all the things I have said is being repeated. So now I want you to open the document called Table 4. So we will now start the practical. And I want you to unmute yourself if you have a question, so that I will take that question before we begin to look at the practical side of things, you know. If you have questions, please do us a favor.
Well done, sir.
Yes.
I posted thank you, sir. I don't know if you can hear me. I posted the question on the chat room. That was when we started about discussing research findings under what not to do. You said at that point we are not expected to refer to literature again. But under what to do, there's a part that says compare with literature. I think
That's not what I
confused
said.
there.
That's not what I said. When you are doing your
Okay,
discussion, you have to include literature. But I said that the first 4 steps should be things that speaks to your own idea before you start comparing to literature.
Okay.
What did you find out? You write it. Why is it so? You write it. What's the implication? You write it. You will now begin to compare with literature. Now, when you are writing, the slide, the section we just did is empowering you to know the right choice of word based on the type of study that you are carrying out, you know. Thank you. Any other observation? If there is no observation, I want us to open to that table 4. I believe we can see it on the slide now. You know. So for the table 4, I have shared it with you before. You will notice that let me see if you can see somewhere I want to highlight in color red now. I have highlighted somewhere in color red. I don't know. That is the only part of that study that is significant. So look at how the person started the conversation. According to the table 4.1a, student categorization achievement was significantly impacted by the treatments. This suggests that the classification performance of pupils exposed to various treatment groups differs. You can see, as a result, the null hypothesis HO1A is rejected, suggesting that the treatments significantly affect student performance in biological concepts. Additionally, 99.4% of the variance in the attainment of biological classification concepts was explained by the treatment. So the person did a Sheaffe for comparison. We have done this in class, and the mean values are explained that, oh, the EMM indicate that students exposed to this so and so, they have this and all of that. They compare the 3 mean. From there, he did the Bonferroni to see the difference between them. Look at where we now got to, which I want us to look at. Look at it. This implies that the main effect of treatment is largely due to difference in all of that. The result of this study showed that the treatment had a major effect on classification ideas. You can see these are his words. This implies that student comprehension of classification idea is directly impacted by the teaching strategy the instructors employ. Look at it. Students exposed to word vocabulary organizer technique had the greatest mean score of the classification concepts. Had the greatest mean score of the classification concepts. The pupils who were taught using the traditional method came in last, followed closely by those who taught utilizing the word map. According to this study, the word vocabulary approach is the main element affecting student progress. The average scores of students who were taught utilizing the word map vocabulary technique and those who differ significantly, which leads to this result. Therefore, using word vocabulary graphic organizer strategy is likely to produce meaningful learning when teaching biology classification concepts at the secondary school level. This is clear to a layman. This therefore parts, even if you are not in the discipline of the researcher, you could actually relate with it very conveniently. The interpretation of this discovery is that when students construct words map, they become more proficient. You can see he's doing those things I said that are 1 to 4 in the slide. In the slide, he's doing the things that I said, that I said in 1 to 4. They are doing it. And these are very important for our research work. Look at it. He's now saying, why did it happen? The next conversation is, he has told us what has happened. He has said, why did it happen? The interpretation of this discovery is that when students control word maps, they become proficient in multi-root words. They become prefixes, suffixes used to categorize living organisms by analyzing the attributes of the ideas. He now began to compare with literature. These findings back up Sutherland's 2011 claim that this method improves pupils' English language proficiency. Rala et al. Verified the effectiveness of work in the core scientific domain. The study revealed that students with hearing impairment develop a stronger grasp of science vocabulary through exposure to word organizer. Additionally, the ability to independently generate vocabulary definition and their overall science vocabulary significantly improved. Now, this discussion that this person has done, from our slide, the slide I shared with you, I said you have to do 7 things. I want chorus answer. Unmute yourself. I will ask question. Did that guy state the findings? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Did he interpret findings?
He interprets it in layman language.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Did he explain why? Did he explain why? Hello, did he explain why? You know, there are 7 conditions. Did he explain why?
I can't pick that.
So I can't. Personally, I can't see why. I can only
can't
see the
pick
result.
that.
He explained why.
Okay.
Look at this. I want to highlight. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I want to highlight something
Preach.
here now.
The interpretation of
Look
this
at what. Did you see the highlight?
The interpretation of this discovery is that when students cannot be because proficient in multiple root words
and all of that.
Prefix.
So he has done. He explained why. You can see. Another thing is that did he compare with literature? Yes.
Yes, sir. With Sutherland 2011.
Although,
yes. He only tilted towards the literature that the shortcoming is that the literature that he referenced are literature that are
that supports his own findings.
He did not tell us the ones that disagree.
That contradict it. Yes, sir.
Yes. Those are the shortcomings of that. Those the method, the way this thing is done, you know.
Yes, sir.
And all of that, because it is very important to do that when we are look at another discussion here. This discussion violates the rule of discussion, because under discussion you are not supposed to do what did he do wrong here? This discussion that I'm showing you.
He's not supposed to state these statistics there, but now he's still speaking in statistics instead of speaking.
Yes. This particular discussion here is faulty. You know? Yes. The discussion section should avoid all of this. It should just be about and all of those things that I have explained to you. So look at this one, that is relationship. You can mute yourself now.
Okay.
Mute yourself so that I would have this conversation. Now, here is where I want you to look at this person. The result is about relationship, and see the way the relationship were interpreted. The correlation analysis conducted examined the relationship between this and this. Knowledge was significantly and negatively associated, indicating that higher knowledge are linked. Look at the words. Look at the word, not cause. There is no causality. Higher knowledge are linked to lower likelihood. You know, similarly, awareness shows significant relationship, suggesting that increased awareness is associated with reduced engagements, not cost. He didn't say when somebody is aware, engagements in IPD use will reduce. What he's saying is that there is an association. Association in correlation studies should not be reported as causality. It is only associated. It is associated. You know, when I was lecturing in Abeokuta, I used to visit one of my younger brother's friend who we are close. It's my very, very younger brother's friend, but we are very close. So the landlord is about 80-something years old, you know, and he has a wife. In the evening, they will sit down at the balcony and the man smokes. The 85-year-old grandpa smokes. He smokes, you know. He smokes, you know. And, you know, the two old men and women, they are lovebirds. When you sit around them, you will want to listen to the conversations, because yesterday on, maybe what happened in the 60s, they will talk. When you are in that balcony, you will laugh, and as the man is contributing to the gist, initiating one, it is from stick to stick. From stick to stick. Before the conversation ends, he would have finished one pack. And he did not have cancer, you know. He has been doing it for years, you know. Where I'm going is that association and causality, they are different things. Different things. You see somebody who has not smoked before, who has not drank before, who did not do anything before, and he will have cancer of the lung. Here is an 80-year-old man, 80-something-year-old, that smokes every day, and he did not have it. This is where I'm going. Association is not causality. That's where I want you to look at the choice of words used when you are doing correlation. Look at regression now. The regression results in this table. You want to look at 3 factors: moral and disengagement, self-motivation, those 3 factors, and look at the words there. This is results, so they can use values. They can use values. You understand? They said the table indicates that there is a moderate relationship between and the use. They now said that the variance is explained by combined effect of this and this. You know, they gave us the ANOVA result indicating that those things, they are pushing it together. I had already explained multiple regression. But let us go to the discussion. Look at the discussion here. This discussion has a fault because the researcher did what? What did he do? He went to put values. You are not supposed to put all these values. Now he began to discuss, because it's regression. If we check the words we can use predict. So he said self-control as the single predictor of IPD use with the largest standardized beta coefficient in the entire study indicates that the main difference between recreational user who use IPD and those who might not lie in the capacity to regulate impulses. You know, that's self-control, delay gratification, resist the appeal for chemical shortcuts to desired body outcome. The significant role of moral disagreement suggests that user is interpreting the results, because self-control, look at these words, they are things that are related to self-control. There are things related to self-control. The words, the kind of words used here are related to self-control, capacity to regulate impulses. You know, what I'm saying is that self-control is predicting the use of bad drugs. So it's not saying that your capacity to regulate impulses delay your gratification. It's saying it in layman's words. Look at what we have here, the findings. The findings of this study therefore present self-control. Therefore, present that low self-control is a predictor of broad range of risks, blah, blah, blah. Look at it. Is a strong range of, and used like submission. We now say, like this submission is now comparing, submitting the self-control and all of that. These are positive, you know. The one that said moral, they say, at times you may not find negative. And look at what he did here again. Because he found out that the work he has found, they are foreign work. He now said within the Nigerian context, that the self-control, let me say, found that, let me highlight it for us to see it clearly. Okay, within the Nigerian context, Waro Ito found that athletes generally disagree with doping attitude at the group, suggesting that explicit moral approval enhancement is not common. This present study partially disagree with that finding by showing that moral disengagement rather than explicit approval is the operative mechanism. So it found something negative, something speaking contrary to the findings of the study. So these are evidence-based way of discussing the findings of a study. So I want to go to chapter 5 now. And I want to have questions. And put your questions in the chat room. Are you sure that you are following all that we have been doing?
Yes, sir. So I want us to look at basic things that is usually in the let me put it like that. When we are finished, the way the chapter 5 of UI looks like, let me show you the normal chapter 5 of the University of Ibadan, you know, so that you will know what it contains. How many of you have gone through the UI manual style that I sent to you? Okay. Please go through it if
I
you have
did.
not done so. Please go through it if you have not done that. Coming. Let me stop this sharing so that I can share another. Okay. Let me now attempt to share another people did not come to this class. I'm seeing 84 participants here. I don't know why. Why is it that maybe they are hungry with me? I don't know what I did to them. Okay. I want to start sharing another. So let me share the screen. So I want to show you what we have. This is a PhD thesis in our chapter 5. Look at it. Look at it, everybody. These colored parts. The chapter 5 of UI research is usually having number 1, summary. Number 2, conclusion. Number 3, educational implication to stakeholders. It's only English people that they said have exams, so that's why I said that. So, education, implication, study to stakeholder, recommendation, contribution of the study to knowledge, limitation of the study, and suggestion for further study. So let us go into this person's chapter 5 and look at what happened there. So this will give us a very good understanding of what we should also expect in our own personal work, you know. So in the chapter 5 of the study, we are going to be looking at what the person did. Okay, look at the summary. Look at the summary of the work. Look at it. The person started with this theory that he used, and from there, let me make it bigger so that you could be able to view it. You know, if you are, so look at it. The person talked about the theory and what he wanted to do. He said the theory was blah, blah, blah. He sought to ascertain moderating effects. He told about the 2 moderating. Talked about 7 null hypotheses were tested. A pre-test control group. He told us its design. He told us the reliability of this instrument, the method of data analysis, Bonferroni. He told us the results of the study, and he told us that what was important, and that is all. So your summary is, you will tell us your journey so far, you know. Now, look at it, the conclusion. When somebody is writing the conclusion, the language must be assertive. Who can read that conclusion for me? If you can read it, let me see what you can read. Hello?
Yes, sir. The conclusion reads thus: the most efficient way to improve students' comprehension and performance in classifying biological concepts is to employ the word graphic organizer strategy, which entails arranging biology related vocabulary and concepts visually on a wall display.
Yeah, it's
These
okay.
con-
It's okay. It's okay.
yes, sir.
Your conclusion must be assertive. It must be assertive. It must be assertive. Do you know that there is always judgment? But some judgments are 150 pages if you read the real documents. Some judgments are 40 pages. You know, you know, like the flow of logic will be there, but there is something that we need to take away. It was in the news all through last week. There was a case that University of Ibadan is involved in with some people on whether the students in the international school should. That judgment is not the 3 sentence thing that we are saying in the. If they bring the original judgment, many of us will not want to read it. But there is a conclusion section. Are you there? And that is what you must first state in your conclusion. Hmm? Look at another section. After the summary, the conclusion is educational implication. That thing that you have done, what does it imply? You know that this researcher is a scientist teaching classification concepts. When you say Sida, Akuta, Arthropoda, all those Arachnida, all those things around classification, they have some elements that students cannot master it if they are literal. Their literal and language ability is faulty. So now, what is going to now happen is that we are going to start with the meaning of that word. He said this researcher went to borrow a method of teaching language education. It's a method in language education. So what is the implication? He said this study demonstrates that language education method may be necessary for teaching biological concepts. What does it imply? That means, what is the takeaway? The takeaway is that some way of teaching in biology, some way of teaching languages may be relevant for this particular concept that is teaching in biology. That's the meaning of educational implication. It's not recommendation, but what does this thing imply? So he said, look at this part. He says students who often struggle not only to memorize this word, but also unpack the meaning. So using that method, students will not struggle to memorize. They will be able to know the meaning of the words. Hello, hello. The network is the network. Tell me where you were. Somebody can tell me where I stopped. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. You're welcome back, sir.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Are you still seeing my
Waiting
screen?
for it. It's dark here. The screen is not showing anything. It's dark.
What about now? What? So that I will know I can just continue.
I'm not seeing anything still. It's still dark. It's not showing anything here. Here.
You know, there is one Shola Jai Padiola who is
Yes.
the highlight of the meeting now. That's why we are seeing that dark thing. I don't know. Okay, let me go back to, because this is where I'm sharing, and that should suffice.
Hey,
What's
it
happening
is
now?
coming up now. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it is showing now.
Now,
A part?
yes, I'm saying that your recommendations should be offshoots of your findings. Don't recommend what are unrelated to the findings of your study. Anything you did not find, it's not compulsory you have 8 recommendations. This is a doctoral work that has only 4. You don't need it. Let's look at the next thing, please. You can mute yourself. Is the contributions to knowledge. Contributions to knowledge. Look at it. The researcher advanced our understanding by proving that your contributions to knowledge is what we know now. What have you contributed to what we know? You know, like last week or so, I was telling somebody that the Yoruba Day week is 5 days, not 7. And the person did not know that Yoruba does not have 7 days a week. So the person was trying to ask for evidence, and I said that you should go and check our market days. If you have big traditional markets, you will notice that they are always opened once in 5 days. So I told him that the 7 days a week is not our thing. Now, the truth is that interaction has expanded. Please, somebody is still speaking. I want you to mute. Has expanded what we know, or what the person knows about knowledge. You know, the what the person knows about the knowledge system has expanded. It has expanded. So what this person has contributed is that some contributions are tangible. He developed word maps and dictionary for learners so that when teaching, they can use it. So that's a tangible deliverable. If you develop a new instrument, it's contribution to knowledge. You know, again, he developed an entry skill. You know, he developed so much. You know, it was somebody that made us to know that the blood of the mother does not mix with the baby's blood in any way when the baby is in the womb. That's knowledge. Somebody that is expanding the frontiers of knowledge. You know, that means the current boundary of the knowledge has been expounded. You know, look at this contribution to knowledge number 3, because the person has 2 moderator variable: entry knowledge of the student and learning style. You now discover that those 2 never give a disadvantage or advantage to the efficacy of the strategy used to teach. That they don't add anything to it. That's a knowledge. Knowing that something is not working is a knowledge. Look at the limitations of the study. You know that the strategy this person is using is actually a strategy that is having so much relationship that is taken from language education. He now said that he has limitation. One of the limitations is that he did not account for the learner's differences in verbal proficiency. That means their language use originally was not calibrated at the beginning of the study. You know, somebody who is in the treatment group that they use word wall, and the person already has a high language proficiency. Chances are high that the person will cope well in terms of how the strategies are used. You know, the study was limited to secondary school students. Therefore, the findings cannot be generated to all levels of education. In some places now, some people will say they don't have money to do much. That is not limitation. Limitation is that your findings, where is the place that we can say, oh, we can't generalize it for these reasons? And you should not have plenty of limitation. For instance, now you go to an event and you did not buy the ashwebi. That will not limit you from eating, but it might limit you from collecting the souvenir. You know, so the limitation of the study are generalizations that cannot be made because of the study's nature. Look at it. Suggestion for further study. It is necessary to find out if the moderator variable, like students' verbal ability, will have a moderating effect on student achievement. Qualitative study focusing on the reason why word wall effectively affected achievements, why word map affected interest may be carried out. So these are the issues that we have. And you can see the UI referencing style. You have to master the use and all of that. So I don't know the questions that you have, but let me quickly take your questions. Please be fast. I have a meeting by 11 and I have to leave home for the meeting. So let me hear from you before I say what I would.
Well done, sir. Well done, sir. Thank you very much, sir. This example that we went through talked about 7 tested hypotheses, and I want to ask if there's any limit to the number of hypotheses that could be tested in a research work as this.
There is no limit, but conventionally we have this 7 hypotheses in educational research, most especially in our teacher education tradition.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, somebody said we are
answers.
muted. Somebody said we are muted. Let me unmute people. Let me unmute people now. Let me see. Where do I do that? No, this is not the place. Okay. Manage group. You know, when I started the meeting, it's as if I muted everybody. That's why. Okay. I have unmuted you. So if you want to speak to me.
Well done, sir. Please, on this issue of hypothesis, I'm sorry.
Wait, somebody said. Can we use Professor Akinshola's formula? Because the step wasn't. It's okay. It's okay if you use that. It's okay. Professor Akinshola is our good. It's okay. There are a lot of formulas that are okay. All right. Somebody who said he's muted, and I have unmuted everybody now. All right, please carry on. Let me hear you if you want to speak, sir.
Thank you, sir. You have answered the question first, that in education there's no limit to hypothesis, but in education research we usually
No, I mean the teacher education. You know, we all came from. Somebody said he's still muted. We all came from this teacher education tradition and culture. So that's 7. Oh. Okay, let me see. We are check now. If you are Grace, check if you could speak to me, and if you can't, type it. Just type your thoughts because we don't have time. All right, let's have Grace. You could type your thoughts now. Let's have our thoughts types if we cannot. Well done, sir. May I know the UI format is for every department in terms of the manual style? Yeah, I think it's the same for every department. All of us in teacher education, science, arts, and all of that, we almost do almost the same thing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've answered that. I've answered that. I've answered that. What else? Can you please let us know what we should expect in the exam, sir? Oh. Are you a philosopher? Ola de Beye.